Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. In this episode of Friday Morning Ramblings, I really want to talk to you about the future of the Rusted Garden, some changes that are happening in my life, and I want you to be part of it. First of all, I want to thank all of you. I was able to retire earlier than I wanted, and in part that's because of the Rusted Garden, and I really appreciate that. The garden is my passion. Now, I've retired from working as a mental health therapist. I was working at Johns Hopkins, and I want to blend that profession with the Rusted Garden, with my passion. And what I talk about a lot is the importance of structure and routine. And what I hope to build in the future is a nonprofit called A Garden to Grow. And it's to help adults, young adults, that have autism or on that spectrum, have a healthy structure and routine and maybe find a passion in something they enjoy. I really believe in that. What I decided to do, because of the pandemic and it takes a lot of work to kind of develop a nonprofit, is to find another one. And I have been very lucky to find the Community Ecology Institute, and part of their initiative is the Freetown Farm. I'm going to be working there. I'm going to take you on a tour there. We're going to drive over there in about 5 minutes, and I'm going to show you why I fell in love with them. Again, thank you so much for being part of my gardening life. I think this is a really exciting time for the Rusted Garden, and I hope that you continue to be part of it. Let's take a quick tour through here and then get over to Freetown Farm. A lot of people ask me, how did I get started, in the garden? And I really got started because my grandfather, when I was in early elementary school, would bring tomatoes over in a brown paper bag, cucumber seeds, and he taught me how to plant and grow a garden. And if he didn't do that, I probably would not have discovered something that has been a passion all of my life. Now, it actually kind of gets me emotional, so it's hard for me to talk more about it, but I wrote that introduction into my book because it was so powerful. He gave me my passion by just showing me as a kid how to plant tomato plants and cucumber plants. And that's part of what got me into shooting videos. I wanted to kind of, maybe not 10 years ago, not at that point in my life, I can't say I wanted to give back, but I wanted to teach people how to have better gardens so that they could just enjoy it. And over the last 10 years, which I thank all of you for, it has grown and it has become something bigger than I could have imagined. Now, when you go through a garden, of course, you get produce, you can watch it grow. It gives you that production, but it gives you so much more. And that's part of my working theme, a garden to give or a garden to grow, is that a garden gives you production, but it also helps you grow in a different way. It provides a structure, a routine, gives you time to think, helps you with your mental health, your mental wellness, and it gives more than just produce. So you go out and you grow a garden. It's an activity, a garden to grow, and it helps you grow as a person. I like looking around and thinking about things, and if you look in here, I have radishes back there that were planted later August. It's the beginning of October. They struggled in the heat and they got a little bit distorted. They still taste pretty good, but they can get woody, kind of spicy. They don't know what to do. They don't know if they should bulb up. Those are red round radishes. Or that they should flower and produce seed. They get confused when their environment is not right. These radishes were planted later. They're doing a little bit better. They're smaller, they look okay, and they have a better environment for growing. Let's go look at one more radish section that I just planted maybe 3 weeks ago. So the radishes here have been growing about 3 weeks. They're growing in the right environment. And part of what I believe is life isn't meant just to be lived. You want to thrive. A garden can produce, but if you don't take care of it, it doesn't thrive. Same thing for us. You want to be able to thrive. You don't want to just get by day to day. The radishes in here are perfect. They have the right environment, the right temperatures at night, the right temperatures during day, and they're just forming beautifully. The French breakfast looked pretty good. And it's true for people, is that our environments really shape who we are, especially as a kid, as a young adult, and the environment still impacts us as we get older. One of the things that we can do is change our structure and routine. And, without getting into all of that, the whole idea is to have a healthy activity, keeps you busy, you get food, you see your progress, you get to share this with people. I get to share my gardens with all of you. I read 95% of the comments I respond to them, and I really do pay attention to how things are going with different people. And there's just some beautiful stories of how gardening has made a difference in each of your lives. You know, maybe one day I can share them. I like metaphors, like the radish thing. You know, you don't have to get too deep. It's a metaphor. You know, our environments change who we are, and we have the ability to be active in changing our environment at times. We have the ability to help others change their environment. We can just do that, you know, as people. Here's another example. This is my corn that was 64 stalks that got beat up. And I think I mentioned, I was just calling this two brothers. There were the stalks of corn and the pole beans and how they helped each other. You know, the stalks of corn would grow tall, but they needed help being anchored. The beans would wrap around them. And squirrels came in, knocked the corn down. But when I look at this now, you know, without getting too deep, I kind of think about, you know, metaphorically, you know, the beans still have a place to grow. They're helping the corn while it's on its downward path, sadly speaking. But they interact. This is what human beings should do. We should interact with each other. We should help each other. Now, it's a metaphor. I know we eat the corn, we eat the beans. This isn't exactly, you know, what life is about. But it's an opportunity to think about how we can give back to our community. Another thing I like to think about is, you know, I have green beans growing here actually all over the place. I love green beans. What if 10 homes in a community, one person just grew green beans, one person just grew squash, summer squash, one person grew tomatoes, one person grew peppers, and everybody in those 10 homes grew something different, and then they shared. That would be enough food to really supplement, especially if you grew winter squash, supplement what they eat for a year. Not only do they have a healthy activity, they get to interact, they get to share, they get to talk. It helps you isolate less. These are some things I think we've lost a little bit as a society, and we can get them back through gardening or other activities. Now, I'm really excited to be part of the nonprofit organization, the Community Ecology Center, specifically Freetown Farm. We're going to go over there. We have a shared vision. I mean, it's really about teaching and reaching people. They have a focus on the gardening, sustainability, educating people, the ecology, native plants, you know, awareness of just of how we impact our ecology. And I think you're going to love that place when we go over there. So let's go over to the truck. We'll drive over there now. I am helping them fundraise for a greenhouse on Freetown Farm. If you can donate money, that's wonderful. If you can donate tools, and I want to thank the person that has contacted me about that already, they know who they are, or other products, that's wonderful. If you can't do those things, but you can kind of spread the word, that's just as good. And maybe if you can, you know, find something similar to what I'm doing in your community and get involved with a nonprofit and help teach people how to grow food, I think that might be the best of all. So let's go over to Freetown Farm and let me show you why I fell in love with it, and I think you will too. Freetown Farm is 6.5 acres about in Columbia, Maryland. And the land, you'll see it, is broken into all kinds of different plots with different kinds of focuses. I think you'll fall in love with it, as I said. It's a wonderful place. I'm really excited to be part of that. So it's only maybe a 15-minute drive from where I'm at. So let's go down there. I'm going to show you just everything that's going on, and then we'll walk over to the greenhouse, or actually where we hope the future greenhouse is going to be. And this is Freetown Farm, 6.5 acres, and it's the only farmland left in Columbia, Maryland, which I think in itself is ridiculous, but that's another video on rambling. But just look at this place. So this is Freetown Farm, and this is what you see when you walk in. This was painted by a volunteer. All the different space here really serves different functions, from teaching people how to have gardens in smaller homes like townhouses to bigger fields, we'll get to that, where they're actually donating food. And I think, if my memory serves me right, they donated 3,000 pounds of food this year. They're only a year and a couple months old. I think their anniversary was in June. Here's one of the greenhouses. We're going to build the new greenhouse hopefully on the other side. So I just wanted to show you inside the greenhouse. So this is kind of one of the things they do. They're growing completely inside this space. We want to build another one. Something larger, something that serves, you know, for a teaching area and, you know, just designed a little bit. But look at those tomato plants. It's October 3rd, I think. They're massive. So they're going to be able to produce and grow food through the colder months here in Maryland. So here are some of the things that you can find. The farm stand is over to the right, a climate victory garden, greenhouse, the one that we just came out of, the barn which they're still renovating. There's an herb spiral down there. There's a wood and stream area that I'll show you. This is the grow it, cook it area, a little bit overgrown. If you want to volunteer, again, go to the description of this video and you can see how you can volunteer and come here. So again, we're into October, and this area was where a lot of the food was produced that went out to different places, part of that 3,000 pounds of food I was talking about. And you can hear volunteers constructing and building. They're painting the place up. It's really cool. Now over here is the barn, and that's in the process of being renovated. We'll walk over to the other side. That's where the greenhouse is going to go. So right back in there, again, we'll get to that. That's where the greenhouse is going to go. This is a kid's garden over here. I want to walk into the woods because they're doing a lot in there too. This is the children's garden. And again, it's finishing up, but there are pumpkins in there, all kinds of different things. They're painting it in green. You know, it's just a beautiful place. And this has been really developed from an overgrown area over the last year and a couple of months. If you look straight back there, all that overgrowth under there are tons and tons of wonderful leaves that have been there for 10, 20 years. It's just wonderful leaf compost. But they've been kind of carving out these spaces, and you know, I hope to be with them for quite a long time, helping this space develop. And this is something you could certainly be part of. If not, of course, in Maryland, look around for your local nonprofits in your states and, you know, see if there's something you can get involved with. So inside the kids' garden, these are willows, I believe, and they're building a willow dome. So as these get larger, they're going to close up over the top, and it's just going to be a dome, a play area really for kids, made out of living willow trees, I think, or bushes. I'm not even sure what they are, but I think that's really cool. And you can see the design and how they've tied it together and just shaping a dome out of the willows. This is the herb spiral that's under construction, and I think that's being done by a group of Boy Scouts. They have chickens over here. So it's really beginning to develop. And I know we were walking over to the greenhouse. There's one more section I want to show you, which is, you know, pretty dear to me because it's related to the career I had before I retired this summer, as I was telling you. Let's go over there real quick. So this garden space is being managed by Hope Works, and it's really for people that have been affected by domestic violence to come, be in a safe place, you know, get that goodness that we talked about earlier in the video about what a garden gives to you, and you can come out here and tend to it. And you can also kind of just see the wide open space here and just see everything that's growing and everything that's going on. I think this is really important, and I think we need more spaces like this in our communities, you know, across the United States. And this is the back end of the 6.5 acres. And it's still being developed, but this is going to be a food forest. A lot of people coming in, volunteering, identifying the trees, and just creating the kind of the, it says right there, the woods and the stream area. This is the forest. I like that they have all these colorful murals and signs all over the place. It's really kid-friendly. And let's go ahead up here because you can see they have a gathering area. Lots of stuff for kids to play on. The kitchen, the outdoor kitchen is over there. They had volunteers come in, build these benches for speaking engagements, kind of like a mini amphitheater. They have the decking down, that's going to get covered. But this is going to really grow into a wonderful place, and I'm very, very happy to be part of it. So let's go over to the greenhouse, the area for the greenhouse, and I'll show you sort of what that vision is. All right, we're going to walk around to the back of the barn, and this is what they're renovating. I think I mentioned it earlier. This is going to be, if you can see that little sign, it says Forthcoming Education Center. They're in the process of getting this renovated, and like I said, the first estimate was $550,000. And that's a lot of money for electricity, plumbing, and fixing up the inside. The structure and the bones are really good. Maybe we can help them with that down in the future. Let's just start with the greenhouse. So this is the space, and again, like I said, here's the education center to be to our right. The greenhouse will be a teaching area, also a place to grow plants, to give away, possibly sell, just do all kinds of stuff. Populate the space here to feed other people. So it's the back space, gets full sun behind me is the morning sun. The sun tracks this way. That's what you want to look for if you're putting down a garden or a greenhouse. And really starting at the pink flag over there where the bones are. And you know, it's really important to me to let you all know that this is legitimate. When you go to the website, you're going to see me holding that structure up. They're a nonprofit. They have a wonderful vision, and I hope you feel comfortable in donating to them. And it's going to go all the way out to here. And what we're trying to do is kind of build this better than the first greenhouse we saw you, which is totally functional, but we don't want it to necessarily just be the polyplastic. Maybe we could get polycarbonate. Maybe we could get geothermal going, which is crazy, but possible. Cost-wise, it will keep the greenhouse at an even temperature. But that's kind of like a dream. But we want to get in running water, some electricity. The water would be to really do drip irrigation and try and make this so that it can be managed day in and day out, even if somebody's not able to check on it. There's the beehives over there. So that greenhouse would come all the way out to here. This is the area that's overgrown, but this has all kinds of wonderful leaf compost really under it that would be perfect for like feeding the gardens here, and it could be used in the greenhouse, and maybe build something out this way depending on how much we can raise. But it's kind of a vision in process, so I appreciate your time. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you're able to donate in any of those capacities that I mentioned, it's greatly appreciated, and you can go to the video description and see if you want to be part of Freetown Farm. Thanks so much for watching. I just wanted to show you the space. I think 3 perfect words: imagine, create, and repair. They do a lot of this design and kind of murals in places, but I think these are perfect 3 words to kind of put towards the end of the video. Again, thanks for watching.